Hello and welcome to the Metal Pack Pod, the industry's leading podcast for the global metal packaging industry. The Metal Pack Pod is brought to you by the Metal Packager, the number one digital resource for the global metal packaging market. With over 6,000 monthly users in over 130 countries globally, be sure to check us out on metalpackager.com. I'm your host Alex Fordham, and joining me today is Mark Williams, Managing Director of Greenbank Technology. Greenbank is one of the market leaders in the design, development and manufacture of two-piece can making equipment, and specifically can ovens, washers and dryers, with over 650 installations in 45 countries. In this episode, Mark has an exclusive for us as we learn of an exciting new industry announcement. But before we begin the episode, we must give special mention to our sponsors, PPG. We're proud to partner with you and thank you for supporting the Metal Pack Pod over these coming months. Their range of innovative and sustainable solutions enables its customers to protect and beautify the world. Now on to today's show. So afternoon, Mark. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, Alex. Yeah, great to be doing this.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure. And we've been trying to tie you guys down for a podcast episode for some time now. So really looking forward to this episode. I mean, before we get started, I know we've got an exclusive here for the Metal Packager. So looking forward to our audience hearing about your guys' announcement. But just for perhaps some of the industry that's not quite as well acquainted with you guys as a company, if you can perhaps just provide a bit of perspective about Greenbank Technology and also CPM, just a bit of background for our listeners.
Yeah, so CPM are a process engineering company. They operate internationally. They have over 30 companies in their portfolio, predominantly food and beverage focused industries that they work in. But they do get involved in extrusion and other areas of industrial biomass and things like that. So, they get involved in all of the main industries for food generation and cracking and things like that for ingredients. Big customer base. And of course, Greenbank Technology is part of that group, and we fall under the can division. Greenbank Technology provide post-manufacture of the can decorating and lacquer curing products in ovens and washing for the bright cans coming through before they get decorated. So we have about 650 installations in 45 countries. And we are due to grow as the years go by. And then we've got a strategic plan that takes us up to probably 700-800 units in the next 2 years.
So, I mean, you've been managing director now for a few years, and I bet you couldn't foresee the amazing growth that's been within the industry. And I assume you guys are no different with the pressure on capacity expansion. And I mean, these things, we moan about the fact that the industry is not busy enough during certain times. And then when the industry is sort of off the scale busy, then that comes with its own complaints. So I assume Greenbank are no different in that regard.
No, exactly. And the industry seems to have booked the trend, hasn't it? The way, and I think that's down to the actual product itself being sustainable and, recyclable. But also the growth in the areas and the releases of new products in cans is fantastic. And we've seen the way the business model has changed, the way booking our slots and capacity up front has become more of a priority than actually getting the kit designed and out. So that's allowed us to grow and develop. And, the key is trying to improve those capacities and develop products that are in line with what's expected in the future for the technology.
Absolutely. And we'll get on to your views on a few of the sort of pertinent industry topics in a little while. But obviously, the main reason we're here for is, you guys have got an exciting new announcement that involves certainly yourselves and a well-known other industry player. So, if you want to give us the industry exclusive, so to speak.
So effectively, CPM have been looking at their business units and they've been collating and amalgamating like businesses together. And they've determined that obviously Greenbank Technology and Proline Engineering would come together under one roof, and they're going to amalgamate those two businesses, of which I will be the MD for both companies. And the idea is to give us much more management bandwidth within the CPM group with the two companies coming together, capacity enhancements. So we've got likewise of being in the same industry, dealing with the same customers. There is product development that we can improve our offer and shortcut some of the site installation issues and things like that we've seen in the past. and just streamline the products together and have a bit more involvement in the full line activity. Of course, that means that Greenbank Technology is based in Blackburn and Proline Engineering is based in Worsley near Manchester. So we are looking for a site under one roof, 200,000 square feet. And I'll go on to why that's so big, in between two companies so that we retain the employees and the location of where our supply chain is and things like that. But the 200,000 square feet gives us virtually double capacity potential for what we're looking to do. So again, servicing the customer and the industry, that allows us to grow and develop the business in the three areas that we're looking at doing in our strategic plan, which is we focus on growth, culture and sustainability. And the sustainability is really important for the longevity of the product and supply chain and also looking after the customer for the future. But, both Proline and Greenbank have got aligned targets and KPIs that we've got to achieve. And bringing them together, they're very similar. And there's a lot of differences between the two companies. Greenbank, for instance, subcontract a lot of their manufacture. Proline actually do some manufacturing. So we're going to get the best of both worlds with the two companies together.
We now have a quick break to check in with our friends at PPG. As sponsors of the Metal Pack Pod for 2022, we're delighted to have support from one of the industry's leading coatings and specialty material suppliers within the industry. Here's a little snippet from the latest at PPG.
Experience the iSense family of specialty coatings. PPG iSense Specialty Over Varnishes help beverage brands stand out on the shelf with unique effects. A tactile finish with a dynamic effect you can see and touch. A velvety, deep matte finish. A satiny smooth, medium gloss over varnish. A white base coat that makes colors pop. A bottle can and cup over varnish that enables special shapes. And a luxurious finish that shimmers and shines. Proven performance, possibilities. Learn more at www.packagingcoatings.com/iSense.
So, Mark, as well, I mean, it was great to catch up with you in Sao Paulo for LATAM Can, and I think that the issue of doing face-to-face business and interaction really shone a light there, and it was good fun to see you and the team there. I mean, that leads me on nicely onto the question I was sort of keen to ask you is that, I mean, how have you guys adapted during the last couple of years? I know we've mentioned about the fact the industry has been booming, but it's been presented with its own challenges as well, such as the working at home arrangements for some of your sort of administration staff and obviously communicating with guys around the world. I mean, how have you guys had to adapt during that period?
Oh, yeah, it's been a challenge for everyone, from remote support for commissioning to our engineers spending 2 weeks in Cancun before they flew into the States, which was like, they sort of agreed to that. They were enjoying that. but also effectively, from a serious side is anyone with underlying health issues that we first identified, we made sure they worked from home and they were safe. And that everything that Greenbank and Proline do is all about safety. But on another side is that, we never ever, neither company furloughed anyone during that COVID period when we redeployed them. So we used our service engineers who were normally out and about in the field and working internationally, and we used them to help us on the manufacturing side. And the same for Proline. They brought their team inside to do production and work in safe practices, made sure that they had distance between themselves and things like that. It has been a difficult time period because obviously the variation in how countries dealt with it meant that there were so many variations in PCR tests, what you could do, what you couldn't do. It was very difficult for business. And of course, sometimes our engineers, when they were abroad, they got caught up in a lockdown. So that meant that they couldn't come back. So we had a lot of different elements that we had to deal with as a business. And like our customers and like our competitors and supply chain, that was one of the other areas that we had to make sure, that we worked. We had safe operating practices during that period of time.
Just intrigued reading the press release that will be going out alongside this podcast in the next couple of weeks. And it mentions here that CPM acquired Greenbank Technology back in 2008, and likewise Proline Engineering in 2017. So I was just curious, really, why the decision now? Why wasn't this perhaps looked at a few years ago when the initial acquisition for Proline Engineering occurred? So just sort of playing devil's advocate from my side, really, about the timing of this decision for you guys.
Yeah, I think that comes down to the position and the way the industry's changed, and the way the way booking slots and things like that, and trying to increase the capacities and using like-for-like skill sets in the businesses means that we can see there's a big synergy between the way Proline operates and the way Greenbank operates. And to combine the two, it gives you an exponential strength, if you like, to the industry rather than where we're trying to go. And also, I think it's taken some time for CPM to look at how the business models operate. And then obviously the strength in the business models, we want to take the best from both companies.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when will this come into effect? Will this be pretty much immediate, or is there like a strategy plan over a number of months?
So this is the target is to go live on the 1st of October, but we will retain the two entities. It won't be one entity. So it will be under one umbrella company, but effectively we'll retain Proline for doing conveyance and Greenbank for doing the product. So because we've got a lot of legacy equipment out there, and the reputation of each individual company is important as well. And just because we're coming together doesn't mean to say you will have to buy the conveyance from Greenbank and Proline. It'll be a case of still running them autonomous.
So strengthening the two companies as individual brands rather than the getting swallowed up as one entity. So I mean, is that never say never, or is that just definitely the strategy moving forward? Because certainly seen a lot of announcements recently within the industry where it does seem that the end goal is to have the using industrial physics, for example, as their business model, using the one brand as a strong position rather than the separate entities. But I suppose you guys have got that plan for the future, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. So if you look at it, it'll be a phased changeover, I think, and we'll see how the business model operates. The target for the new site will be towards the end of this year, hopefully in this time next year, operational under the one roof, because it takes time to get, first of all, locate a site, and then secondly, to move the business units across without compromising the business, which is the important thing.
Absolutely. Have you got a site earmarked? Because I know these things are tricky, and obviously visiting Greenbank a number of times, you've got a number of good local people. That's obviously an asset to your business, and I assume you want to retain those people. So finding a site that is equidistant between the two businesses is there's probably not too many candidates, is there, for a suitable location?
It's really difficult at the moment because industrial property and commercial property is as soon as it's being earmarked for being built, it's already sold. We only find out. So we've employed CBRE, who's looking out for us for the sites and recommended sites in the locality between the two companies. And as the crow flies, there's only 25 miles between the two companies, so it's not that far. But the location, the actual trying to find a site in that area is very difficult at this moment in time. So we've got to test on with that, yeah.
And you mentioned the three, you mentioned sustainability, et cetera, and the three strategies for growth. If you can just explain those in a bit more detail for our audience.
The growth strategy, obviously, growth allows you to invest, allows you to develop and build on what you've already got. So growth is really key to developing the business. Sustainability is obviously maintaining the business and throughput. So we will be looking at some diversification that Proline and Greenbank can combine their efforts into. And that could be food can and things like that. So it won't be too dissimilar to what we're working on in the two-piece industry and things like that. But there are other areas that we can focus on as well that we're aware of, that we have done in the past, that we need to develop even further. So again, it's just strengthening the foundation of the core activity of what we're trying to achieve. And then culture is all about the people. We've got to make sure we train our people well, and we make sure we give them all the benefits that we need to do. People are essentially the business, and that's number one focus for us, is making sure that we retain the people. And of course, moving premises into a new site, that introduces change and it introduces uncertainty. And we've just got to make sure, this is a positive thing. This is not a consolidation. This is a growth. We were targeting growth. So we will more than likely be taking on people, then we won't be losing people.
Well, no, that's certainly refreshing to hear. And I mean, that sort of leads me nicely on to my next question, where we've certainly seen, particularly in the beverage can sector, the growth up until at least 2027. I mean, from your personal point of view, do you foresee this sort of aggressive growth in the industry continuing for a number of years? And how's your order book looking for the next couple of years?
Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I don't think there's any other industry out there that has grown as fast and has got the outlook that the industry has. And, that's down to customers. That's looking at how they operate and their business models as well. But, from seeing an expected 2 to 3% actually being 7 to 8% increase year on year is phenomenal. If you look at all of the large customers and others, you can see that for quarter one and quarter two results are just showing the benefits of what they're doing. And of course, that's having that vision of where the next area of growth is going to be and keeping up with the customer base, because there's a lot of changes in the Ukraine-Russia issue has taken some element of it out of the business. But hopefully, I could see that returning quite quickly as soon as things get back to normal.
Yeah, absolutely. There's never a dull moment, is there? The one thing, just looking at this press release as well, is that the can business essentially will be under your remit with your senior management team. I know the final name for the business is still under wraps, so to speak. But is there anything you can share with us about the direction of that in sort of the branding or marketing and that side of things?
So if you look at the executive team, it's just so happens that there's 7 of us sit on the executive team, and then 3 have come from Proline and 3 have come from Greenbank, and that's going to work really well. We've had a first couple of meetings, board meetings really, to set out what the plan and the strategic plan will be and how we align the two companies and bring what they're doing together. And there's massive strengths in the two businesses, and we want to pick up on all those strengths and take them forward. But effectively, from a marketing point of view, Proline did do very little, and it's a lot more of reputational, reactive sales. I mean, Greenbank is a bit more, they do a lot more advertising and things like that. So we would want to bring Proline into advertising a bit more and taking that forward, especially we can see a big stand at NetPack, which we're already booked into and things like that. So there's a lot that we're trying to focus on the sales and marketing side for Proline to bring them up to speed with what Greenbank's been doing over the past few years.
No, it's really exciting stuff for you guys, and congratulations. I mean, what's the feedback been from your customers that I assume you've reached out to? Has it been positive in the main?
Yeah, all the customers that we spoke to have been really positive about the outcome of this, because they can see the benefits of having double the size of an aftermarket team to be able to work on both products. And being in one building would be really, really useful for pre-delivery inspections and things like that, and also the coordination between the two companies. There'll be a lot more collaboration where we'll be able to, for instance, the washer to the dryer conveyance section will be able to be built in there and everything. So there's a lot more benefits, and the customers can see that as well, I think.
No, that's really exciting to hear. I mean, you mentioned about the definite advantages here. I mean, is there any immediate challenges involved? I mean, you mentioned recruitment potentially. Is there going to be an immediate need to capitalise on this new expansion?
So one of the big things is in our strategic plan, we've built in a recruitment time frame, and that's where we're working to that already, and then that's come on really well. I have got a business development director that's due to start soon, which we're just waiting for a start date for him. But I would like to, that's another exclusive, if you like, there. But I can't mention that at the moment because obviously confidentiality for him. But effectively, he's going to be a great addition to the business and be able to work on both Proline and Greenbank products, selling them. Yeah,
exciting to hear. And I mean, you mentioned earlier about your sort of take on the industry and things like that. I mean, have you Greenbank been adversely affected by issues such as supply chain issues that the industry seems to be fighting at the moment? I mean, I know you mentioned obviously the issue of the war in Ukraine with Russia, but is that potentially the number one issue for the industry at the moment? The issue of supply chain issues and also costs as well, and having to potentially pass on those additional costs to your customers.
Yeah, we've seen an awful lot of cost increases over the past, I'd say even over the past 3 months, 4 months. And whilst we've tried to consolidate that, it's been very difficult and it's been challenging. The big issue with supply chain has been electrical components and things like that. And the price of nickel going up for stainless steel products has just gone through the roof. And unexpectedly, we're working with our customer base to discuss that. And unfortunately, there is an element that you've got to pass that on. You don't try not to, and you try to ride that wave a little bit because of our products being such a long period, a delivery time scale, such a long period. You do try to ride that out, but sometimes you can't do that and you have to go back to the customers for it. And that's not an easy conversation, but it's something that we have to do. But overall, the cost increases, the cost of living and fuel prices is just it's everywhere, I think. And even down today, we were in an engineering meeting today, and there was a price increase on just cable tray of 30% from the last time we bought it, which was 2 months ago. So that sort of thing is difficult to take on.
Absolutely. I think it's a theme across all industries, not just the metal packaging industry, but I suppose the fact that we're strong as an industry and it has been boom time, that at least we can offset some of those costs with a decent growth strategy. So there is that element to throw into the mix, unlike some industries that are really struggling as a result.
I think the big thing for us as well is focusing on key areas such as aftermarket service, care plans and things like that. We want to roll them out and try and help support the customer base a bit more in those areas, and spares and things like that. So we try to provide a spares quotation with all our RFQs up front, so that the customer can see how much it costs to run the plant and what are critical and recommended spares. So, yeah.
And I suppose for a company such as yourself, that is really your point of difference you'd like to see with offering that sort of after-sales service and level of support that you can do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's a future, because obviously all these new plants that are being built, they've got to be supported in some way or form, and we've got to make sure that we have the team that be able to do that. So a lot of what we're focusing on in our aftermarket team is multi-skilling them, so that they can do electrical and mechanical bias rather than just focus on the single discipline.
Absolutely. And it seems that from an outsider looking in during the last sort of 2 or 3 years, you've really tried to modernise the business with a new website, social media offering, and also charity endeavours as well. Has that been sort of central to your concept as an MD, really, to try and give that human touch to an engineering manufacturing business that perhaps you didn't have in the past?
Yeah, I think that's down to the culture. And that's one of the focus of our 3 points in the strategic plan, is that we get the culture right so that people enjoy working for us and doing things like that. And coming back to the charity, that's always a really important thing for me. Every company that I've been in, I've been involved with some form of charity that we try to support. Derry House is our charity that we've chosen, and that's end of life care for children, which is very difficult for everyone and the families. In fact, that's always a very difficult position, and we always think that's a worthwhile charity that we try to do more for. We've got the Jubilee celebration going on at the moment, barbecue, so that's raising funds for the charity again. Towards the end of this month, I'm actually doing a skydive, which my boss wasn't very happy about. But effectively, we've got a skydive, which is going to be my first one, but it's a dual one, so it's not. I'm not on my own. I just think whoever's with me knows what he's doing.
That always makes the insurers nervous when they hear of charity endeavours like that. But best of luck with that, and then we'll certainly help with promoting the charity after. We'll provide a link with this podcast as well with the follow up, so industry friends can certainly get involved and support you guys.
Okay, that's fantastic. I do appreciate that.
No problem at all. Just wanted to round off things really with it was just the diversification side of things with the press release. You mentioned about how it's allowing the company to diversify into new areas with innovation and product development. I mean, is there any sneak peeks of this product development or innovation that you can share with our audience, or is that perhaps a little bit too early?
It's a little bit premature, but we have got key ideas between the two companies, and a simple one would be adding control philosophy and panels and electrical equipment for the conveyance side, which we currently don't offer, but it's an easy add-on and win that we could help, I think, to help the customer, do a more full turnkey product offer.
just from our side, congratulations for this exciting new announcement, and I hope it's a success for you all.
Yeah, fantastic. We're really looking forward to it. There's a lot of challenges in there, but we're really looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, thanks very much for your time, Mark, and we'll speak to you soon.
Okay. Thank you, Alex. Thanks.
It's always lovely to have an exclusive here on the Metal Pack Pod. Thank you to Mark for his time in his immensely busy schedule. And of course, congratulations to Greenbank on this new announcement. And it will be interesting to see how CPM's CAM business unit fares in the future. We'd appreciate it if you can like our podcast and keep spreading the word on the industry's leading podcast for the global metal packaging market. For those of you new to the show, please do check out our back catalogue of archive episodes at metalpackager.com/podcast. You take care now, and we'll see you very soon for our next episode.